You've got what it takes.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future. If you love the thrill of racing but hate
All right, folks, here we go live from Michigan International Speedway. It's the Southern Thunder Truck Series. Joe LaCastro here with Sean Signori up in the booth. We're going to be covering 125 laps of Michigan here. And Sean, you have a little bit of experience. This is your first time in the booth. First of all, welcome up into the booth. Back up, I should say. We've interviewed you a handful of times here, obviously, but welcome into the booth as a commentator, my friend.
Thank you, man. I'm looking forward to it. Michigan's one of those staples of the NASCAR circuit that produces great races all the time. So I'm really looking forward to see what these guys from Down Under can get done tonight.
Yes, sir. We got guys from down under, a few from across the sea, though, over in our direction. Here's Dave-O going around. We got qualifying for you folks right now. 5 minutes of it. We want to see where folks are going to fall on the grid. But we do have mostly Aussie track here. And like I said, a couple of Yanks from overseas. But let's talk about truck driving. Now, you've got experience driving trucks around here. So what are some things that you would want to keep in mind as you take a truck around Michigan?
Well, these trucks get pretty loose there on the bottom, so you kind of want to maintain and save your stuff if you're going to be able to make passes later in the run. The draft is also a big part of sticking with the leaders and being able to keep yourself around the front and hopefully get a good finish at the end of it. You got to maintain and work that draft the whole way.
Well, that's going to be the game plan for these guys out here. Here's Tom Pritchard, the number 6 truck, doing a $184 right now. Pritchard sitting about 5th overall on the grid if we were to stand right now with everybody's laps. Not too shabby, doing a 39.2 right now in as his current lap time.
Yeah, about 2/10 off the pole sitter right now, Dave-O up front. So I think 2/10 is about as far off as you can be off in qualifying and maintain with the leaders up front.
That's right. Now that 2/10 actually extends right up to Zach Sears, who's just above him in the standings now at this point. All of the guys in the top are less than a 10th off, and the top 5 are less than a 10th apart from each other in terms of qualifying right now. So they've all found that magic number. It looks like Tom Pritchard got bumped down again to 7th here, as again they're all within a 10th of each other. Very, very good line to be found here at Michigan, and I think we're going to be seeing some pretty competitive racing up toward the front if these are the numbers these guys are putting down during qualifying.
Yeah, with the field this tight, I don't think anybody can go wrong and lose the pack, especially with how they're expected to be racing 2 and 3 wide for most of the time.
That's true, and nothing's going to really cause competition to square up unless we get a yellow here. Remember, we don't have any stages in tonight's race, so we're just going to be doing this $125, but as raw as it gets. And so hopefully we don't have too many yellows to deal with. Obviously, I want everybody to make it to the end of the race tonight, but if we do have anything that crunches up the competition or accordions them up a little bit, that would be to the benefit of some of these folks who are currently sitting a little bit further back in those qualifying times. Brad Blundell, and Brian Blundell, and Shane Bowen.
Well, with there being no type of caution flag other than for incident, you can possibly make it on one stop without any sort of interruption.
Yeah, and we'll see if we can. Right now, we're going to take a quick break and go to commercial. We'll be right back, folks. Hey, we're back, folks, here in Michigan International Speedway. There's the start-finish line. Hey, look, there's some spotters. I almost said, look, it's me and you, Sean. Quick shot at 2 guys spotting for one of our teams here. Now let's take a look at how things are going to square up here on row 1 as we break down the grid. First things first, it's Dave-O on the pole. Second place, and the second spot on that row, it's Jason Holdsworth. Row number 2, it's Brad Newman in 3rd place with Brenton Henderson in 4th. Lachlan Urklio in 5th with Zachary Sears in 6th. Ruben Phelps in 7th with Brad Wright in 8th. and Matthew Raymond in 9th, with Tom Pritchard in 10th.
Starting in that 11th spot is Ryan M. Barber. In 12th place is going to be Zach Kerr. 13th is going to be Andy J. Barber. And 14th is going to be Paul Jackson. 15th is going to be the 38 of Shane Bowen. And 16th is going to be Brian J. Blundell. 17th is going to be Jason Tyerman. And 18th is going to be Colin Bennett. And starting dead last and 20th is going to be Mark Grocutt.
All right, there's your grid, folks. Nice solid grid of 20 trucks, 20 gladiators getting ready to go around here. It is 68 in the air, 87 on the track right now, none too shabby, but that wind speed, nearly 20 miles an hour of wind blowing across the track from the southwest right now. That has got to be something that will affect these guys.
From the southwest, that will affect you coming off of 4. You're probably going to get a little bit of tight coming off of 4 and a little bit of loose coming off of 2.
That's a lot of wind. Yeah, nearly 20 miles an hour of wind blowing. The folks in the stands have got to have their hair whipping around at this point. The trees are blowing. You can see them right there blowing and whipping in the wind in this amazing simulation.
Probably a good day to be there at the racetrack.
I'd say it would be, actually. 80 degrees in the air with a nice stiff breeze. That's going to be a nice day for a race.
I wish it was like that all the time at Daytona.
Yeah. I've actually never made it down there myself, but I have a feeling it's hot and muggy when the race is going on down there.
Especially with those rain delay races.
Oh my goodness, on a humid day. Don't even get me started down there in Florida.
I've definitely melted in those stands a couple times.
Oh my goodness. Well, I'll have the opportunity myself, I'm sure, someday. In the meantime, I'm not going to melt. I'm sitting here in my nice comfy gaming chair in my air-conditioned gaming den, and I'm watching some amazing racing going on with my good friends here. We're putting on the show. Folks, if you're doing the same thing, we hope you're enjoying it, either down under or over here across the sea with us. There goes the pace car off now. 2 trucks at the front. Dave-O and Jason Holdsworth getting ready for that restart zone. Once they hit it, they're going to get the green flag. We're going to get things started here. There we go. We are go, go, go on the Southern Thunder Truck Series.
Be interesting to see if Brad can stick with Dave-O up front. Maybe make a move here early while the tires are new.
That would be a good time to do it. Right now, it looks like Brad Newman is going to slide into second. He's still a little ways off, by about a truck length away from Dave-O. Dave had a good launch on that. If we look back a little further in the pack, there is a lot of 2x2 racing still going on. The number 12 dipping down to the inside. That's Zach Kerr. Zach Kerr is now running the inside, putting 3 wide a little bit. He's looking for that spot, for that 6th place position, 5th place. He's got it now.
Getting loose there on the bottom. We can already see it early here in the race coming off of 4.
Oh, well, you want to get those squirrels out of the engine early. They don't belong in there. So figure out where you're supposed to be. Don't use those cold tires too hard, boys. But we've still got some really tight fighting going on in the back here. The 19 of Brad Wright trying to thread it down on the inside there of the 42 of Lachlan Urquio. Lachlan, high on the outside, has got a nice clean line, a little bit of help from behind, but not as much as Ruben there on the inside. Excuse me, Brad on the inside. Brad getting a bit of a push from Ryan Barber.
Well, it's going to help him all the way down the straightaway here. Check out that 6 truck in 10th place there. He's going to be making a move down into 1 here on both of them.
Let's see it. All right, the 6th truck coming down. I'm watching Ruben Phelps. He's sitting there. He's got a few car lengths behind Brenton Henderson, trying his best to make that speed up. If he could get someone linked up with him, that would be pretty helpful, I'm sure.
Yeah, it will definitely help because you can't let those guys get away. You'll lose them in an awfully hurry.
Yeah, I have a feeling that he's worried about the same thing, but he's getting closer now to Henderson, and Henderson himself is getting closer to Kerr. I'm going to say Kerr. I think it's
looks
Zach
like
Kerr.
Henderson's saving some tires too. It's going to pay off in the long run here.
Yeah, I think that might be the way to go. We got 125 laps of green flag racing, so any amount you can save. And I think they only get 4 tires, I think, sets?
4 in the pits. Yep.
Yeah, 4 in the pits.
You got 5 in the car. So it tends to be about 25 laps per run if you can even get a caution to pit.
Well, we'll have to find out here. Everybody's got 100% fuel, though, so unless someone does save, the only time that we'll have to pit is maybe a quick pit toward the end or a short pit to make a run to the end. But
they can make about
we'll
68
see.
laps on a full tank. So we're looking at a one
Okay.
pit stop race if we can get that far. They'll be close,
There
though.
we go. All right, folks, hey, take a look here up at the front. We've still got some close racing going on. Dave-O getting chased down by Brad Newman, Jason Holdsworth, Zachary Sears and Holdsworth side by side. Excuse me, not Sears and Holdsworth.
That's Kerr.
Sears and Kerr,
Yeah.
side by side.
Kerr's up 7 spots already. He started 12th, and he's already moved up and fighting for the 4th spot here. So maybe he is burning his stuff up a little bit. We saw him getting loose already, and we see him getting loose right now there on the bottom. So let's see if it pays off for him in the long run or if it comes to bite him here in about 15 laps.
I'm watching him bounce around a little bit more than everybody else, but as we go around, he is holding on to that 5th place spot, and I don't think he wants to let go of it. Also up 2 positions is Zach Sears right ahead of him, but there's a little bit of a gap forming between Kerr and back there. It's Ruben Phelps getting a little loose as well. He's got some guys behind him who are 2x2.
Ooh,
That's
tight
Brad
racing
Wright.
there between the 81, and Brad Wright.
Mm-hmm. Really love to see it. And now on the inside, Brad Wright staying there on the inside line, not slotting in behind the 81, going down, taking Ryan Barber with him.
Tough to make the pass down there, but it seems like he's got him clear off the corner. Oh, he doesn't come up, so now the 81's going to get that side draft on him.
Oh, watch this here. Here comes
Here
Ryan
that
Barber,
05,
the
yep,
05.
right up through the middle.
Putting it 3 wide for a second. It's Barber. Looking good. Actually making the center line there work for him. Now, where is the speed here at Michigan?
The speed's wherever you find it. You can use the top, you can use the bottom, you can use the middle. It just depends on where the other guys are running and how you're going to get around. Whoa! Here
He's
comes
fishy.
around.
He's fishy.
81. Brendan Henderson.
80. Unbelievable.
Oh, he kept
slide.
it off the wall. What a
He
job.
kept it off the wall barely.
No
but
yellow.
He did. Tom Pritchard did get involved in that just a little bit. He's back on the track, though. He just barely avoided a wreck. Unbelievable. What a
Don't see any damage
slide.
on that 6 car. I think he's going to be okay.
Mentally and emotionally, though, I don't know. That's going to be a
gonna be
completely
scared,
different
yeah.
question. Yeah, it's going to be a completely different question. But wow, what a fishtail out of the 81 there. You saw that. He lost control up into the wall, down into the infield, and then just enough to get back on the track there. The 81 of Brenton Henderson. Good.
Well, he's going to
good
be praying for a
recovery.
caution here early so he can get those tires off the truck and hopefully catch up with the pack up to the pack.
Yeah, he's driving on butter right now. That's not going to do him any benefits, but we'll see what happens. Good old Brenton Henderson. Good luck, buddy. We'll see you up at the front hopefully again soon, or up in the middle of the pack. But well, who is doing well up here at the front? Brad.
We got a new
Newman
leader
right
up
now.
front. Yeah, got around Dave-O here about a couple laps ago. So it seems like the draft kind of closed everybody back up together, and now Brad has taken his shot and got up front.
He's doing all right there. Our Brad Newman looking great with Dave-O and Zachary Sears right behind him. Newman leading things off in the blue and blue car. Looking good. Let's see. Now, these guys are lined up pretty well. I'm looking to see who's got the aggression up here in these top 6. But right now, I think they might be trying to either save tire a little bit or just, take advantage of the fact that they've got everybody lined up. And
Well, it's
we
a
got
long
125
race.
laps to go, right?
Yeah, it's a very long race, and they all know this. They're all very experienced, really good drivers, so they're going to be saving their stuff here for the moment. But we'll see as the run goes on, some of these guys struggling more than others, depending on their setups.
That's a very good point. Now, right now, though, the struggle appears to be between the 5 and the 19. We look back a little bit. You can see Andy Barber in the 5. High on the outside, the 19 of Brad Wright trying to find footing. Here comes Barber.
Here comes Urquilla on the outside there of Brad. He's going to have the position on him going into turn 1. Let's see if he can get it done.
Ooh, by a nose. He's got him. They're still
Oh, he's
side
going to
by
have it
side,
easy
though.
off the corner with the draft here coming off of 2. Let's see if that
Oh, yeah.
19 moves back up, and he does. That's what he needs to do to try to hold on to position. But here comes Matthew Raymond to make a move underneath him.
Good move. Snappy move by Raymond down to the inside. Way up high on the outside goes the 19 of Brad Wright as Raymond slides past with the 38 of Shane Bowen in tow.
Yeah, Shane was just an opportunist there, took advantage of the 19 going extra wide, but that's what you have to do to try to make clean passes and take advantage of that type of incidents up front of you.
Yes, sir. That was a good move. Up at the front, we have some movement also. A little bit of action as Zach Kerr makes a move to the outside while everybody else is going down to the inside. Now Kerr, he moves to the inside. It looks like he's trying to make a move here on Sears.
Only a couple laps after we said they were saving tires, and here we go. The impatience is starting to get to them.
Oh, that's not going to do him any benefits, though, at this point in the race. It's too early to be impatient. As we're only 12 laps in, we've got another, we're a 10th in to the 125 that we're going to be doing tonight. So these guys have got to settle in. They've got to get a little more patient.
Oh, they're making it work so far. They're up about 3 seconds ahead of 8th place, and they're starting to drive away from some of those guys right behind them. So they're working together, and they're making it work, putting down some good lap times. At this rate, they're going to be lapping some of these guys here in about 30 laps.
Yeah, that's a good point. They are way ahead of 8th place right now. There's a very sizable gap that has seemed to form here, going back from Jason Holdsworth to Ruben Phelps, the man alone himself right there in the middle of lap 13.
12 cars got to run here on the leaders.
Oh, has he got it, though? Has he got it? Let's see.
Very close going down to turn 1 here. He's going to make the move on the outside of Dave O. I think Dave's going to maybe give him some space here off the corner. Oh, no, he's going to move up in front of him, so they're going to make it nose to tail down the back here.
Here we go. Kerr, falling back hard is Dave O.
Yeah, he gave him the spot.
Yeah, he just gave him the spot.
Too early to be fighting that, especially going down to turn 3 and 4 at that speed. You know, a lot of things can happen in the middle of that corner. Might as well just give it up now. He's going to push him down the front, maybe put some pressure on Brad.
Here it comes. Watch, Kerr's going to make the move here. Up to the outside this time. Is there room? He gets the squeeze.
Oh,
ooh.
A little bit of contact there, but that will happen there in the entry of the corner sometimes. You just don't know what the other guy is going to take. Oh, into the wall goes the 12, tight.
Yep, Kerr into the wall. Not pretty. Is he going to lose any momentum from that? Not a lot, as he tries to dive to the inside now. Looking for the lead is Zach Kerr.
Oh, these guys are getting spicy early. It's only 15 laps in, and they're already on the chatter talking to each other. Let's see how this is going to resolve itself. I don't think it's going to end pretty if these guys keep rubbing like that down the straightaways.
Not like this, because here it comes, 3 wide right now. Dave-O says, you know what, if you guys are going to fight each other, I'm going to take that spot. Zoop, see ya.
What a move. That was perfect opportunity, and he made it, and he timed it perfectly. Got the move done going down in the corner easily.
Yeah, it was like watching somebody walk through a revolving door without touching it. It was perfectly timed.
Here comes Zach back down to the inside, but Dave-O's going to have the high line here, which might be a little bit stronger coming off the corner. 12's going to move up in front of him, but he's going to get the run back down underneath him here. It's going to be tight coming down this straightaway.
Always staying down on the inside. The 12 of Kerr, though, staying high on the outside. Not using all the track right now. Staying up there. Whoop, little bit of sparks flying. But Kerr is going to try to stick on the outside and make that work for him as best he possibly can.
Be interesting to see if Brad can stick to his door going down the straightaway. Doesn't appear so. Appears the draft's just too strong, and he's going to end up losing the position to Zachary Sears in that 342 truck.
Man, that straightaway here in Michigan, this is such a long track that you can get the draft to really, really just rev you up.
And these trucks are so big. The trucks are so big, they break a huge hole in the air, and the draft feels so much stronger sometimes in these things compared to some of the oval racing cars.
Yeah, something that would bite the air a little bit more, be a little sleeker. Right now, Dave-O back in control of this race right now with Zach Kerr right behind him. Zach still up 10 positions from where he started, a scrappy driver tonight, and he's still looking for that first place spot.
Seems like he has the best truck early in the run, but it's going to be interesting to see if he can hold on to the speed throughout the whole fuel run here, as it appears they're going green.
It does appear that way. Now, we have some battles that are still happening. Now, a little bit further back, as if we go back, we got Matt Raymond and Andy Barber, who are still side by side. So the yellow could come from the front. The yellow could come from the middle. If we look back any further, though, things are stringing out a little bit, and we don't really have much more than a few packs of 2. and a few single drivers here and there that are taking their trucks around now. But up here at the front, we've got just enough competition from around the 8th, 9th place position to the 1st place position that this really could be anything. If something was going to happen, it could happen from just about either of those 2 spots.
Well, those top 6 trucks are all within a second of each other on track, still 20 laps into this race. So, as we saw in qualifying, with them being all so close, it's showing itself here in the race.
That's right. And we've got Dave O still out in front. Zach trying his best to find a good spot to get around. Now, here's where we usually see Zach consider making some kind of move. He's not going to this time. He's going to hold on to that 2nd place spot, maybe realizing that if he overdrives it at this point, he's going to be paying more than he can afford.
He's showing a little bit of patience here, which is what he needs to do. But with Zachary right up behind him, I don't think he's going to be patient for very long.
I agree with you. I'm watching him right here.
But who knows? It might be a fuel save here, too. Especially with it being only 1 stop, it's going to be close to the end for some of these guys, especially the leaders out front burning more gas.
And as Davo burns a hole in the air for the cars behind him, they've got to be thanking him for that. He's going to be using up just a little bit of extra fuel more than everybody else. Going to have to set the pace potentially for wind to slow or stop. But right now, Davo is still in the lead with Zachary Sears in 3rd, Brad Newman in 4th, and Jason Holdsworth rounding things out in the top 5.
That 12 car looks so strong going down into the corners every single lap. I know Dave O's got to be looking in his mirror going down those straightaways every single time, just wondering when that 12 car is going to make a move because he knows it's coming.
Yeah, it's on its way. Let's take a look a little bit further back, though, and see how things are going with the pack that includes, starts with Ryan Barber. Barber out in the lead right now. Andy Barber right behind him. There's a little bit of motion there as Andy Barber looks like he's trying to slide down the track. Nope. Not quite enough speed, unfortunately, to get on the inside of Ryan.
That 05 truck.
On the outside now.
That 05 truck got really loose coming off of 4 that time. I think Andy saw that, and he's going to try to take advantage of it here, going to the top.
Here we go. He is way up there. We got some green flag pit stops going on. Let's take a quick look as the camera focuses here on Jason Holdsworth. He is behind the... he is on the other side of the pits right now. No, not on the other side. Excuse me. He is taking a pit stop right now. Looks like
seems to be a scheduled stop.
Yeah, about 12 seconds.
Maybe he's going to try to make it a 2-stopper here. Can't explain it, though. This seems a little unusual at this point in the race. Oh, Ryan, yeah. The 05 truck just came in as well.
I see.
Be interesting to see what these guys are doing. Not just one truck doing it, but 2 of them. So it'll be very interesting to see how this all plays out for them.
Yeah, it's a weird place to put that pit stop, but if 2 people are doing it, let's see what happens on this turnaround.
Yeah, we might be missing something, but I'm open to learning.
Right? There's always something new to learn. Now, they could be... That's a very good point. Our producers pointed out that they could be putting the short stint up front and just saying, hey, if we're going to have to cut this short, let's not pit later. Let's just pit now.
Well, I felt like it was an easy one-stop from the start, so I'm just confused as to why they would pit knowing that they're going to have to make another one to try to make it to the end. So maybe, I guess, it isn't a one-stop, and it's going to be a 2-stopper with everybody, at least with the tire situation. Maybe the tires are falling off worse than we expected.
Well, that's true. Now, we saw that it was 85 on the track when this all started. I don't know if it's gotten any hotter or cooler since then. Maybe we can get a graphic up there. There we go.
And they've slowed down about
1 degree.
They've slowed down about a second from the beginning of this race.
Yeah, they've slowed down about a second. It's about a degree hotter also, but the wind is still kicking at about 18, 19 miles an hour out of the southwest there.
And with the fall off that much in only 25 laps, I guess the tires are going to play a bigger role than we thought in this race, and some of those guys are going to be pitting early to try to take advantage of that.
Probably a good idea. It's that big brain strategy that we look for, that alternate option. to what everybody else is doing, which sometimes pays off.
See that 242 truck there? He's going to be fighting with that 86. They're going to be fighting for 14th spot back there. They have been side by side for a couple laps, burning each other's tires up, and they're going to be in risk of going a lap down here in about another 25 laps. They're more than half a lap back already. But they are going at it. It's been one of the best battles on track since the start.
Well, that's the 242 of Colin Bennett and the 86 of Brian Blundell. Brian Blundell just there trying to make the slide, but again, they're both burning it up right now, extremely hot. So we'll have to see how they come out here.
Battle for
There's
second.
a side-by-side battle happening. Yeah, there we go.
Ooh, Zach's going to move down in front of Zachary Sears. That 12 truck's been a little aggressive so far. Maybe he has burnt his stuff up. And here comes Brad in the 33 to take advantage of it all.
Yeah, they're not going to let him do that all night, though. At some point, Kerr is going to have a bit of a reckoning with the two cars behind him with that defensive driving and with the way he's been burning it up. He is going to end up sliding backwards into them until eventually he's going to touch. And when that happens, I want to know. I want to be seeing it. I want to be watching it because I want to see exactly what is the moment that Zach Kerr's really, not, I won't say aggressive, but his very assertive streak kind of comes to a close.
Well, Dave-O has not gotten away from those guys, so if Brad and Zachary Sears can think they can get around that 12 truck, they're going to want to do it soon.
That's right. We're approaching lap 30 right now, folks, of 125.
Oh, Zachary Sears in the wall. Looks like Brad got a little tight off of 2. With that wind, that's going to happen there, especially when they're side by side, not getting air on that spoiler.
Oof, yeah. Not pretty. Don't want to let the wall be part of this experience here. It's not signing up to go around.
It didn't seem like that big of a hit. Hopefully that 242 truck can stay in contention.
Yeah. I think it will. Like you said, I don't think it was too big of a hit. It's more just giving it its autograph.
Yeah, that wall will reach out and grab you coming off of turn 2, no matter what line you're running, especially down there on the bottom. It just tends to come up on you really fast there. And a tight battle back here, too, with Andy and Shane.
Andy, once again, one of the more interesting drivers right here in the middle of the pack.
And you got that 05 truck behind him on newer tires, so hopefully he's going to make his move in a wise spot and not get in the mix of these lead lap trucks that are going to be racing for top 6 position.
And a little bit ahead of him, we've got
the 42's on pit road. Here is another guy coming down to take that pit stop before the halfway point.
That's right. That's Lachlan.
Be interesting to see where he comes out relative to that 05 truck and Holdsworth that pitted earlier. Is he going to be able to maintain, or are those guys got a big gap on him as he comes off pit road?
We're going to have to wait and see on that one. I say that a lot, I know, but that's the only thing you can do in this situation sometimes.
He's coming off pit road now. Here comes that 05 down the straightaway. I think he's going to clear him coming into turn 2, but he's going to be close to his back bumper where it's going to be a net gain for Lachlan.
Let's see it.
Try to blend in here. I think the 05's got him with the momentum.
Yeah, he's not quite up to speed yet.
Oh, he wasn't able to get there, and he got air blocked a little bit, almost got into the wall, and you see the new tires on that 42. He just takes off through the center. He's going to drive away from, hopefully pass those lead lap trucks and use those tires up for their goodness now.
Yes, he is. Making the pass right now on the 5.
See, this is tricky as a lead lap car because you're not looking in your mirror for somebody coming 20 miles an hour quicker in the center. So somebody might get caught off guard here with the newer tires catching them so quickly. And you kind of see it up front with Holdsworth. He's up there messing with the leaders.
Yeah.
He's got Dave-O in front of him and Zach behind him.
He's sort of made himself part of the conversation here.
I think those new tires, though, they're going to show up here, and they're going to be able to... He's going to be able to fly past David, and maybe Dave can stick with him and use him for a draft, and hopefully drive away from Zach, who's still fighting Brad very hard behind him. But he's got a little bit of a gap now with that lap truck in between them.
That lap truck is causing trouble, isn't it?
Well,
But
it's definitely...
it's driving alongside them, though. You know, it's keeping pace.
No, yeah, but he's definitely going to be playing a little bit of a mind game with that 12. That 12's going to want around him, or that 12's going to want him to get up and get around Dave. Just sitting in front of the 12 is not going to work out good for him.
Which do you think is more likely here?
I really don't know. I think the 8 truck will probably show up here with those new tires in about 5-10 laps, especially when Dave really starts to fall off and the leaders here really start to fall off, which I anticipate to happen soon, especially 35 laps into the run. So I think he's going to be able to get around Dave, but I think he's just playing nice right now, knowing that he's the lucky dog and knowing he's in position to take advantage of anything if should it happen. They're still side by side there for second.
It's quite the battle. Yeah, they are. That battle for second. Brad's
been hawking them for about 5-10 laps here, and he finally got his nose underneath them. He's been able to stick with them, so I think he'll be able to get the job done here. He's going to maybe use that 8 truck as a little bit of an air pick, maybe get the 12 car tight. 86 on pit road, and there's another truck following him down.
86 and the 73.
Yeah, both of these guys are running outside the top 10, so they were struggling. They were needing a lifeline, and they came down and got themselves some new tires, and hopefully it works out in the long run for them. Still going to be a one more stop from here, though.
Yep, even from this range, 37 is going to be a one-stopper. You said there was how much in the tank again? 100% tank?
From sitting in pit road, it said 68 laps.
68 laps, okay.
Some more lead lap trucks coming in. The 5, Ruben Phelps is in. They're all going to be pitting now, maybe trying to protect their position from some of those guys in the back that pitted. And it's going to work out good for them. They're going to come out way ahead of them. The leaders are all on pit road now as well.
Yeah, did you see that race onto pit road?
Oh, man, that was close. It's tricky here, especially when they're not calling it out. I didn't hear anybody call out they were pitting.
Yeah, but it was one of those instinctive things, apparently, as now over half the field is on pit road.
They did a great job keeping off each other there.
And eyes on the field as the cars all get up on one hip to get the tires changed.
Looks like Lachlan really made out there and came out ahead of a lot of the trucks that just pitted a lap ago. He's got a pretty big gap over them, but he also pitted about 8 laps ago. So he's got 8 lap older tires than all the guys that had just pitted. But he still came out behind Dave, Brad, Zach, and Zachary Sears. So the whole top 5 basically remains the same up front. They had a big enough gap to where those guys shortened pitting. It really didn't matter.
That's right. And that gap now has really spread out thanks to those pit stops. All that previous stacked up situation that we saw now has very much spread out, loosened up a little bit. There's a little bit of side-by-side racing happening. Matt Raymond making the pass on the inside of, I think that's Andy Barber.
Andy just came off pit road. These guys both pitted on the same lap. So their tires are equal. So they're going to be close to each other for the whole rest of this run.
Looking forward a little ways.
Still a pretty close battle up front, yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say Brad Newman is still in second. Zach Kerr is now taking the third place spot away from Zach Sears. The battle of the Zachs.
I think that was just Brenton there getting lapped yet again as the leader gets around that 86 truck. It's going to put him a lap down. It's not good for him, but he's going to take away that lucky dog spot from Brenton.
Uh-oh. Tom Pritchard with a black flag. Let's see what he got it for. Probably
I
for the
bet
pit
he was
entry.
speeding on pit entry. Yeah, it's always going to nail somebody on green flag stops. Somebody's going to get caught speeding. And I guess the 6 car, he just drew the wrong deck.
Went flying across the line. Yeah. Just too fast, Tom. Very unfortunate. That's going to be an end-of-line penalty, I'm pretty sure. Or no, a drive-through.
Brad's only 4/10 behind the leader, Dave O here, put in his fastest lap of the session, last lap, lap 40. I guess his tires are warmed up and he's got a pretty big draft. He's going to be closing in here. And Zach behind him as well, closing in just as much.
Moving up towards the front, Kerr is trying to make things competitive again, giving Newman a little bit more to work with as the
He's
two
gonna have a big run here.
slowly reel in. Yeah, they're reeling in Dave-O.
And we saw it in that first run. That 12 truck was fast on new tires as he burnt his way up through the field. So I think he's going to have a little bit of muscle here to flex as the Brad goes underneath Dave-O for the lead here.
Ooh, super close.
Side by side, he's going
Brad's-
to clear him off the corner. What a move.
And looks like Dave-O just gave Brad a little push potentially, but they are so close right now.
These guys were playing nice there. Dave-O lifted off the corner to let Brad up. Maybe working against that 12 car there. Sometimes when you get somebody like that 12 car that shows a lot of speed, the other 2 guys up front will work against them when they can to keep everybody in the game for the win.
That's true. That's true. And I'm wondering if they are linking up a little bit against that 12, but I don't know. I think that Zach Kerr has really made a name for himself during this race so far. So I think that they know he's there, but I don't know if they're working against him in tandem quite yet.
Oh, he's shown a lot of speed. If it was me running in second or the lead, I'd be on the horn to Dave or Brad or anybody to try to get a little bit of an advantage on that 12 truck because he looks fast.
Well, let's see if anybody heeds the call here. Hopefully Dave can take care of the 12 or at least keep him off of the tail of Brad Newman and himself. So we're coming around lap 45.
He's giving them that good push down into turn 1. They seem to be working together, at least on the straightaways for now, maybe to give themselves a little bit of a bigger lead over Zachary and Lachlan behind them. Seems to have worked. They have dropped Zachary since he hit the wall about 3 seconds. Since he hit the wall racing side by side with Brad about 15 laps ago, he has lost this front pack.
He really has.
Yeah, maybe that truck is carrying some damage. He's hoping for a caution flag so he can get a little bit of it fixed. That will kill you here, especially when you're out by yourself. It seems to matter 10 times more than other tracks here sometimes, that arrow.
And what we're going to do, folks, is take a short little break here, and when we come back, we'll have some more green flag racing here from Michigan International Speedway. So don't go nowhere.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a Rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Hey folks, welcome back to the Southern Thunder Truck Series. And we have got quite the battle going on here up at the front. But it's me, Jolo, up in the booth with Sean Signori and Kobe Jordan. And we are watching this absolute knockdown drag-out fight between the number 12 of Zach Kerr and number 33 of Brad Newman as we go around through lap 52 of 125.
Man, these guys have been side by side for about 2-3 laps now. They're going to be burning their rubber up, and Dave O's sitting right behind them, just waiting for one of them to give him a little bit of a window.
That's right. Look at right now. You can see he almost tried to put it 3 wide just there, but I think he's mostly just letting him know he's there, and he's just making his name known. If he can get the spot, he might try to pass up both at the same time.
Here comes Zach back down into turn 3. He wasn't going to wait long. He's going to try to take that bottom away from Brad. Well, he looks like he might get it done here, but Brad's going to stay tough on the outside, right on his right rear quarter. And here comes Dave O. He's going to get the run off the corner. They're going to be 3 wide down the front stretch here.
This is bad for Zach. Very bad. Not where he wants to be. He expected to have more room to maneuver. Dave giving him the squeeze now means there's only one place for him to go. He's getting flushed right down the middle as Brad Newman on the outside, but Zach realizes where his opportunity lies. It's with Dave this time. He slots in behind Dave. He wants that second place spot back, even if he has to fight for it.
Yeah, he backed out of it going into 1. That was a wise move there, letting Dave send it in on the inside because he knew he was going to come up, and it wasn't going to work going through turn 1 and 2, 3 wide.
And there we go. Say sayonara to that battle. What a fight that one was.
Yep,
They're
Dave
going
O.
to do it again in a second.
Yeah, Dave O was just biding his time, letting those guys burn each other up there for a couple laps, 2-3 laps side by side, and he took advantage of it and was able to get around both of them in one big move.
I love it. It's what you love to see.
Now we'll be able to see if Brad and Zach saved enough tire there to keep up with Dave. As we know, he was one of the faster trucks in that first run.
I'm going to guess that he did save. We'll see. We'll see.
Well, that draft's going to help. It's going to help him stick with him. But if Dave gets a couple good laps here up front, and if Brad, for any reason, gets offline, he might lose him for good. Dave looks like he's getting through the corner very well.
That's right. It sounds like we got some more people pitting. Brenton Henderson right now is going to be going to pit road. He's a few laps down, unfortunately, but he's going to be pitting right now.
Yeah, this is going to put him 2 laps down, not where you want to be, but maybe he can use those new tires and get his lap back, but it's going to put him in a tough spot.
Oh, black flag for Brenton Henderson.
You saw it there as he was entering pit road. He just on the brakes a little too hard, slid him over those cones, and that'll get you every time. We already saw it earlier with that 6 truck.
Unfortunate situation gets more unfortunate for Brenton Henderson as he pits in the 81 machine, trying to get back under control. Here we are at the front of the race where we have a lovely swatch of colors here. Yellow, blue, pink, and purple.
Yeah, these guys are catching up to that lap truck of Colin Bennett in the 242. Be interesting to see if that creates a little bit of a gap or gives any of these guys an opportunity to get back up to Dave-O up front.
Sounds like Bennett's going to stay out of the way. He's going to let them have their pass. He's not going to make it a fight.
But even just being there, he's going to affect the lines up front.
That's true. That's true. Don't want to deny that. He's definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with, even if they only have to reckon with him for a little bit as they make the pass.
He did a good job staying out of Dave-O and Brad's way. And you can see Dave-O has been able to maintain that spot up front. Since he got around both of those leaders, he was able to maintain that gap he has, about 3 or 4 tenths, and they just can't get up to him and drive around him going into the corner.
Watching here, this is
81. He's going to come out 4 laps down with that speeding penalty. That's effectively going to end his race unless he gets 4 really lucky yellows. But it doesn't seem like that's going to happen.
No, I don't think that's going to happen, Sean. I would have to say no. But folks, thanks for tuning in to tonight's race. We really, really appreciate it. As usual, this race is brought to you by a number of sponsors. We want to thank Everything Simulated for their trophies for this series. And we want to thank Doogie Mobile, the handset company, for their sponsorship as well. We're throwing out a few other sponsors as the night goes on, but those 2 right now are going to be the ones I bring up as we go through lap 60. We are about halfway through this race. Just a little bit more to go. And folks, coming up soon, we've got a fun race, the 5th annual Vintage Indy Race, June 13th, just about 6 days away. In Indy, we got a bunch of different cars going to be on the field. You're going to hear yours truly on the microphone there. It is going to be an exciting time. So please remember to follow, like, subscribe, hit that bell, and tune in for the 5th annual Vintage Indy Race coming up again on June 13th. Mark it on your calendars. Stick around. It's going to be a great time.
A lot of cool cars in that event right there.
Yeah, I love Vintage Indy. Love watching some of those guys go around. And I've got a chance to race in a few of them. So I love the Lotus 49. It's one of my favorite cars on the service. Just the way it looks, the way it sounds. And yeah, even the way it drives on some of the big ovals. I love this thing.
If you can drive that thing, you can drive anything.
Yeah. Well, I didn't say I could drive it. I just said I enjoyed it.
The 42 on pit road, we saw the 8 truck coming in making a green flag stop and the 42 truck coming in making a green flag stop. They seem to be pitting every 30 laps or so. We'll see how that works out for them in the end. We saw the 42 gain a lot of track position as when he came out of pit road last time by. So on this strategy, we might be seeing the leaders come back down in about, I don't know, about 10, 15 laps.
That's a good point here. Now the leaders out in front is Dave-O, Brad Newman. Zach Kerr has fallen back a little ways now. Maybe all that hard driving has cost him more than he thought he was going to have to pay.
Well, we saw it early in the run. He was driving hard. We saw in the early of both runs so far in this race. He was driving hard, trying to stick with those leaders, and it seems to have burnt up that right front, trying to get by Brad there for about 3 or 4 laps straight. Brad's been able to close that gap back up to Dave-O, though, showing a little bit of muscle here, making sure Dave-O doesn't get away as they get closer and closer to their second pit stop.
That's right, that's right. Now, we've got about half the field a lap back at this point from Davo's situation. Colin Bennett in 11th is the first car. That's a lapped car, I believe.
5 truck on pit road as well. He's going to be pitting here. It's going to be 62 laps in, so once every 31 laps so far.
A little bit of a shorter window than I expected, I think.
He was close to getting put a lap down, so I think he wanted to pit before that happened and maybe get an offset on the tires in case he does get that yellow.
Very good, very good. Smart. Well, a gamble, but smart. Wonder what's going through Davo's head right now. If he's thinking that he's going to need to pit sometime soon, or he's going to try to hold out for another, let's see, he pit last at lap 37.
At that rate, he'll be pitting around lap 71, 72, maybe even later, 75 or so. I think around 75 might be the call. It's halfway in this race.
Yep, I think it might be about right. We only got 10 laps to go to 75, so eyes on that situation for when Davo decides to dive down pit road.
Yeah, Brad's still right on his bumper.
Yeah. Brad will not give up. Whenever Dave goes down pit road, that'll be when Brad goes too, I'm guessing.
And the trucks that pitted right now, they're about 0.8 to a second a lap quicker. So their lead's going to be cut every single lap that they stay out, but that's going to come back to them on the long run after they pit when they're going to have newer tires than some of those guys that already pitted, like the 8 truck and the 42. So we see this 83 car here. He's been flexing his muscle all over the back of Shane Brown. Probably one of the better battles on the track right now.
And Shane Bowen is trying his best to work his way. He's in the 5th place slot right now. He is quite a ways back, unfortunately. He is 12 seconds off Zach Sears. Zach Sears himself, a man alone.
Yeah, he's 19 seconds off the leader. It's more than half a lap. As he's going down to turn 1, the leader's already into turn 3.
Yeah, things have spread out here. A yellow would be a godsend to a lot of these guys. It would be hell for Davo and Brad Newman, but a lot of these guys, boy, they want a yellow more than anything right now.
Well, the likelihood of one happening is going up as we got guys on new tires, we got guys on old tires, and it's getting later in this race, and patience is going to be going by the wayside.
That's true. Patience is going to go away. Tires are going to get more and more buttery and slick, and eventually we might see someone outdrive themselves. Now, if they outdrive themselves to the inside, like we saw earlier, that's not going to cause a yellow.
Yeah, we were lucky not to have one then, but I'm sure Brenton would have wanted one at that point.
I'm sure he would have too.
It's still really tight up here for the lead, only 0.2 between Davo and Brad Newman. Brad's been able to stick with him throughout this whole run. It seems to be the one truck that can stick with Davo no matter where he goes, as Zach seems to be about a 10th off of these guys right now at the moment.
And folks, we are just enjoying some of the sights and sounds here of green flag racing around Michigan International Speedway. We hope you are too. Once again, thanks for joining us out here.
Oh, Davo getting a little loose there on the bottom. You can tell his tires are starting to work away as we're more than 30 laps into this run for these guys. Brad to the inside, makes a big move. He's going to get it done easily. Dave's going to just let him by. Maybe he makes the crossover here coming through off of turn 2.
He's going to try. Let's see. Nope. He ends up sliding it in, maybe going for a push instead.
Yeah, these guys playing nice. They know they're going to be pitting soon. Maybe they can take advantage of that and get away from one another. But until then, no sense in putting each other in a bad spot.
Speaking of bad spots, here comes the 81 and Brenton Henderson.
Yeah, he caught him in the worst spot you can on this track. Coming off of 4, you need to stay in that gas, and it seemed like he had a lift there a little bit for the 81, but he's going to be able to clear him going down to 1, and Dave-O kind of took care of him there and lifted for him as well.
Oof.
Close racing, though.
Very close racing up at the front. The front has been where the action has been at for most of this race.
And these guys are so evenly matched. I can't tell you which one is going to win this race or which one has the better truck. I really can't say. Is that the 19 on pit road here? No, it's the 86. He was already a lap down after he had pitted a little earlier than the guy's last run, so right on schedule. He started the last round of pit stops, so maybe these leaders are going to be pitting soon. They didn't pit long after the 86 last time around.
Well, it's all going to be green flag pit stops as far as I'm concerned.
Those are the best ones.
It's going to be green all the way. Yeah.
Yeah, they test the drivers, man. Green flag pit stops, those are the ones, you know, if you don't make those mistakes, like speeding on pit road, missing your box, matters 10 times more under green flag stops.
Yeah, that almost rhymed.
And maybe I should start writing lap lyrics about, you know, racing. Green flag stops.
Well, I'm Sean Signori, and I've got to say, a green flag pit stop will make your day. There you go.
That was pretty impressive. You got it down, man. I'm assigning you the record label. I just had to fire Diddy.
I keep it simple. I just had to fire Diddy. Yee, 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 yee. Anyway,
here comes that.
Don't quit your day job.
Shane Bowen, man. He's got a handful of that 83 truck behind him here. It's been like that for the last couple laps. I bet you these guys might be pitting soon to try to offset one another. Maybe get away from each other. They've been all over each other for about 30 laps here. Oh, a whole bunch of trucks on pit road.
Well, this is it. This is going to be the big one right here.
Zachary Sears.
To get to the end.
Yeah, he was up in the top 5. He's going to be coming in maybe to try to close in on those leaders that were up front and driving away from him. I think the leaders are going to be coming down this time by Brad and Dave. Let's see if Dave follows him onto pit road. This is going to be the race for the win, maybe. These pit stops mean so much at this point as we close in on 50 laps to go. Oh, Brad, a little swirly. Maybe a little bit of contact there, but they seem to both live through it.
Any black flags, though?
Don't see any at the moment. No black flags for either of them. Zach seemed to close in a little bit there coming in on pit road as well. Maybe he can get off pit road and stick with these guys. That's what he needs to do. Who is going to win this race off pit road, man? I think the Dave-O might have a little bit of speed here, especially with that box being further up.
I'd put money on it.
Neck and neck, I think Brad's going to get him, especially coming down off the banking.
Let's see.
Can Dave-O stick with him? Is he going to be able to keep up in that draft? I think he should. He's not pulling away from Dave going down the backstretch here. 82 truck, he's got his tires warmed up. He's going to make it interesting for both of them. Believe it or not, the 82 might have helped Dave-O going down in the corner there. Might have gave him that little bit of a draft going down to turn 3 and got him up to speed just a little bit better than Brad, as he's going to be able to stick with him.
Now, I fully believe it. And I've got eyes on the situation here, and I'm seeing what you're seeing, and was just a little bit more help than he probably intended to give him. Oof, we got some black flags spinning up here. Who was that again, producer?
I think it was the 19 here, Brad Wright. He was a lead lap truck. He was doing a pretty good job in the top 10. And he came down, and I guess he was just one of those guys caught speeding. That's the third one that we've seen so far tonight.
Michigan just eating them up with the speeding penalties. Oh no, and speeding on the exit as well. Just gotta get off the gas, my man.
When it rains, it pours. You can't do it. You can't speed coming down to serve your penalty. That's a race killer right there. He's going to go 2, maybe even 3 laps down with that.
Yikes. Just yikes.
Well, up front, Dave-O's been able to stick with Brad. Let's see if he's going to be able to make a move here. While these tires are new and these trucks are turning good, I'm also keeping an eye on Zach. He's about 2 seconds back. Is he going to burn his stuff up to try to catch these guys? Or are these two going to work together to keep him off of their tail?
Let's see. I think they're gonna work together, but not intentionally. We'll see here. We've still got a pretty good chunk of racing left to go, folks. Lap 78 of 125, so we're almost to that 45 lap mark here.
Still a long, long way. Over 90 miles left to go here. A lot of time to make a move on each other.
90 miles. Good way to put that into perspective. I never really thought about it like that, but we got 90 miles of driving. Folks, if you've ever put that in 90 miles out there, it's usually about an hour and a half of driving on the highway. Not out here. We're doing 180. So we got about a half an hour left on the track tonight. At green flag pace, that's what we're going to do.
That's a long way. Everybody here should be able to make it to the end. At least the guys up front on the lead lap. From 73, it's about 50 laps. They should be able to make it, but we'll see. These guys have been pitting every 30 laps or so. So it wouldn't surprise me if everybody came back in about 20 laps. That would just be on par with what they've done all night.
It's a very high possibility.
Dave-O making a move down to 1. He's going to clear Brad Newman. Going to get a couple truck lengths on him going off of turn 2 there. Some lap trucks up in front of them as well. The 231 of Paul Jackson, the 05 of Ryan Barber. Maybe these guys are going to play a significant role in who's able to stay up front and maybe even win this race.
I think they will. And folks, one thing we're going to do really quick is we're going to take one last commercial break here. And then when we get back, we're going to bring you the end of this race. So stick around.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to Southern Thunder Truck Series Racing. We are here at Michigan International Speedway. It's me, Jolo, and Sean Signori, Kobe Jordan down in the truck, and we have been covering some exciting racing, green flag racing, just about all the way here so far out of Michigan, and we have got even more green flag racing going on up here at the front. The battle has always been hot, and it still is between Dave O and Brad Newman.
These guys back here in 7th, 8th, and 9th are showing each other no mercy. Matthew Raymond, Shane Bowen, the 06 right there, Ruben Phelps, they've been all over each other for about the last 10 laps since they all pitted. And they are showing each other no mercy as they fight for a top 10 spot here.
I can see that now. Tooth and nail, tooth and nail. That's what's going on.
And they just got by that 42 who short pitted. They have 13 lap fresher tires in that 42, and it was easy pickings for them, so they were able to gain another spot. And they're going to be catching that 8 truck of Jason Holdsworth. They're about half a second quicker, so about 8 laps from now they're going to be in the top 5 battling for a top 5 spot.
And you can see Matt Raymond, out front in the 6th place spot with that TWRS paint scheme. We got a code at checkout that you could use for TWRS setups, I believe, right? What was that code again, producer? Right there. Wattspin 39. Use that at checkout for TWRS setups.
And they seem to be working pretty good tonight. They got 3 cars in the top 10.
You'd love to see it. That's got to be a good setup then.
And 10% off, I might grab one myself.
Way to do it. Oh, and the first week is free when you sign up. Even better, give it a shot. Get a couple of races in, see if you like what they do.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. You don't see that often with these setup shops.
Oh, no, they don't give you the week free. They want you to sign up first. But these guys will at least give you a chance to try the product. And they put their guarantee on it, I'm sure.
Still a close battle between Matthew Raymond and Shane Bowen. Bowen knows he's got a teammate in front, 2 teammates. He's got one in front of him, one behind him. So he's outnumbered here, but he seems to be making it work, staying in between these guys.
It is paying off for him right now as he's got a nice little spot to sit. But, with all the competition that we've seen between these guys, you got to think Shane Bowen is trying to cook up some kind of way to get around him.
Still a long way to go, 35 laps to go. He could just be saving that tire and saving for the last 10 laps. That's when it matters, especially in a race like this, green to the end.
That's true. Decent line right there, the 1, 2, 3. Up at the front, things are still holding steady between Davo and Brad Newman, who are just in line and driving straight to the end. I think that Brad might be waiting until later in this race to get his snap going.
Yeah, Zach Kerr has closed in a little bit from 2 seconds out. He's about cut their lead in half here. but it seems like it's going the other way the last couple of laps as Brad and Dave have kind of picked up the pace, working together, giving each other a little bit of a draft, maybe trying to keep that 12 car out of the picture and keep it between the two of them.
Just had a shout out from Sarah Kay on Twitch. Thank you for shouting out the was it the S&W boys? I think it was what she said. It was a joy to watch them go around.
These guys have all been fun to watch tonight.
It has been, you know what, a pretty good race. If for a straight green flag race for 125 laps, you know, you can get into situations where these really get strung out, and we are fairly strung out right now, but with 92 laps down, 33 to go, we've had 8 lead changes back and forth. We've had some serious racing around the mid-pack, serious racing around the front, 0 cautions for 0 laps here at Michigan so far. And even with the wind and even with the heat, it's been very, very good.
And that's kind of what you want to see sometimes in these races and see the strategies all play out. And, you know, the guys that are the quickest tend to stay up front, and those are the guys that deserve it sometimes. And with these long green flag racing, it tends to keep it amongst the best trucks.
That's true.
This battle will not end for 6th spot, the 83. Oh, the 42 on pit road. He might be starting off this last round of pit stops.
There goes Lachlan.
He's been one of the first trucks on pit road on every single cycle. That might be a tell. Maybe some of these other leaders are going to be coming in. Maybe not, though. Big run for Shane Bowen.
Yeah, huge run. Although you're right, Lachlan does seem to be a bit of the tester in terms of how the water is for taking a pit stop.
Well, he came out right behind these guys battling for 6, so he's going to be playing a role here in a couple laps. And 2 of these guys are his teammates, so maybe he helps one, maybe he puts Shane Bowen in a bad position here, knowing that he's racing 2 of his teammates for what could be a top 5 spot. And this was a 3-car battle until Ruben Phelps fell off of those 2. As we go back up front with Brad Newman still all over Dave O.
Yeah, that's a tight battle still at the front, and it feels like a battle that's not yet. It's like frozen in time. Like it's just waiting to snap. Again, I mentioned that earlier, that Brad Newman is waiting for that moment where he can snap out around Dave O, and that battle frozen in time has just got a time limit on it. So we'll see when eventually it does pick up here.
See the 38 here making the 3-wide move with that 73, the lap truck of Mark Grocott. He's going to go down to the bottom here in turn 3 and slide up in front of Matthew Raymond and try to take away that 6th position. As we see now, Matthew has gotten back by him. So it was all for nothing as he's able to slot right back in behind Matthew. And that 42 truck has seemed to clear all 3 of those guys. He's going to make use of those new tires. We got some more guys on pit road now. The 8 truck, the 05, 231, all coming in to make that last stop.
Yeah, here we go.
Seems like these guys are going to make that one extra pit stop to make it to the end, keep those new tires on the truck. Seem to be aggressive with it.
Yeah, probably the way to do it. It's what I would do at this point.
If everybody's
doing it, tires left, I would take them.
Yeah. But what do the leaders do? What does Dave O and Brad Newman, what do they do? What lap do they pit? Do they pit on the same lap like they've done so far in this race, or do they offset each other? They've got to do something different to try to get away from one another.
Yeah. Yeah, my guess is that when Dave-O goes, Brad does not.
It's a pretty good guess, especially with Brad behind him. I bet you Brad pits without saying anything. Brad comes in and maybe pulls a little bit of a surprise move on Dave-O, pits a lap early, pits maybe a couple laps before Dave-O does, try to get a little bit of a gap on him.
Now that's big brain thinking.
And that's what I would do. If I'm running second, I don't have to call out, I'm pitting, especially with a gap behind me.
That's true. With a big enough gap, you can just slide right off into that treacherous Michigan pit road.
We've seen a lot of speeding penalties so far today. I bet you these guys have that on their mind, especially with how they've entered pit road so far. These first 2 green flag stops have been a little swirly so far.
That's true. Swirly's a good way to put it. Swirly, squirrely. They've been going around, and they've been. We've had at least 3 black flags related to Michigan's pit road so far tonight.
Yeah, those brakes are cold. They're not using them often on the racetrack, so when they come down to use them to enter pit road, they are cold.
Here comes Davo and Brad Newman across the line to give you lap 100. As we're approaching that 125 mark, folks, 25 laps to go, 26 with NASCAR math. We'll be done with this race pretty soon, and so will these drivers. But when will their tempers start to flare? When will the things get desperate? And will we see a yellow flag between now and then?
Davo's gotten loose on that bottom the last couple laps. Seems like maybe his tires might be going away a little quicker than Brad's, and maybe Brad has the upper hand. As we get to 25 laps to go, do these guys make another spot? Oh,
whoa!
Yep,
Whoa!
Dave getting loose. I saw it a lap ago. And it's going to double, triple that time off of turn 4 as Brad's going to get the run and get to the inside and easily take the lead going into 1.
Well, that must have freaked out Dave. It must have freaked out Dave just enough. He's gotten a little loosey-goosey. Now he's in the dirty air. It's really windy on this track. There's a lot that could be causing him to lose a little control. He's again very loose here. Dave-O has fallen back into second place behind Brad Newman, and there we just saw Andy Barber, the lap car, also is a part of this pack right now. He's leading this little pack of 3.
Yeah, Andy just pitted a couple laps ago for some newer tires, and now he's got a little bit of an advantage. As we see that battle for 5th, all on pit road at once, Matthew Raymond, Ruben Phelps, and Shane Bowen. They're all going to come in the same time, stick together.
And there goes Dave-O for the pit stop. Now he went zooming across the line. Did he end up with a black flag there?
Don't see one. I think he got away with it.
No, he got away with it. Yeah, he was zooming when he came down the line there, but he did really good. Watch this here.
He called it out. He pitted a lap early, but at the same time, he didn't call it out for everybody else in the race, so he caught Brad with a little bit of a surprise move.
Wow, and he got it down below 55 just before the line.
Brad's going to stay out another lap. He didn't pit this time by.
Okay, Brad, he wants to go 2 up then on his old rival there, Dave-O, and he's going to bring Zach Kerr with him. Dave, right now, Brad Newman and Zach Kerr are the only 2 drivers, I believe. Actually, Dave-O is still on the lead lap, technically. But Brad Newman and Zach Kerr and Dave-O, those are the only 3 drivers, I think, right now on the lead lap.
Yeah, the 342 and the guys battling for 6 behind him, they all went down a lap with their pit stops here. So whenever Brad and Zach are able to make their green flag stops, that's going to put more guys back on the lead lap. In case we get that caution, that's a big deal.
So we'll see what happens. Right now, Brad Newman is a man alone. He is a rock. He is an island. He is just now crossing the line for lap 104.
That's another lap where he didn't pit as the 12 car comes down pit road. It'll be interesting to see where he comes out according to where Dave-O is on racetrack.
That's a good point. As Brad Newman is past E at this point, he's got to be driving virtually on fumes or whatever he's feeding it. It's working because he is out ahead of everybody, and his pit stop is going to be one where he's checking his watch the entire time. He wants to get out ahead, get that gap as far ahead as he possibly can before he risks coming in for this green flag pit stop.
You might be waiting to try to get a little bit of a tire gap on Dave-O, but it's killing him right now as Dave-O is on track going more than a second per lap quicker than Brad Newman out front. Each and every lap that he stays out after Dave-O pits is killing his lead. He's already about 3 or 4 seconds off of him on the racetrack alone. As you can see, a 40.4 to a 39.2, that is more than a second. That is a significant amount of time he's losing every lap. I can't see him staying out much longer.
Yeah, I can't either. I'm just staring here to see when he's going to come down. He's stayed out again.
As you can see, Zach Kerr right in front of him. He stayed on the lead lap in 3rd spot, even with his pit stop. He is 3.5 seconds behind Dave-O. He lost a couple seconds to Dave-O in that pit stop sequence. And he has a couple laps fresher tires, but I don't think that's enough to close in a 3.5 second gap. But I've been wrong before.
Well, we got 20 laps to go, so a lot could happen. Or I guess 19 in this case.
Anything can happen, especially with Brad still out there. Be interesting to see when he comes and makes that pit stop, or does he try going the rest of the way? I thought these guys could have went a little longer per fuel run, and maybe that shows up here at the end of the race with Brad. Maybe he was saving fuel behind Dave-O there towards the end of that run.
That would be something. If he went the rest of this race without pitting and didn't just cross the finish line while pushing the truck across the finish line, I will be a monkey's uncle.
He's still a second a lap slower compared to Dave-O every single time, so I don't know what his plans are, because right now Dave-O is going to be riding off into sunset on the pit stop gap.
Yeah. Dave-O making the moves.
One of the best trucks all night. Started up front, been up front the whole time.
Yeah, it might just be the best truck of the night so far. If I was going to give the trophy out at this point to the driver that I think has the drive of the night, it would be Zach Kerr or Dave-O. Zach Kerr, I think, deserves a lot of credit for the drive that he's done tonight, too. Really strong drive from the beginning all the way up to the front, and then he has stayed competitive in the front of this race almost the entire time. He even led the race for a little bit.
Yeah, he was up in the top 5 awfully quick. It only took him 8 or 9 laps to get up there from starting 12th.
Yeah, he said, I am nobility and I know where I deserve to sit. And he moved himself right up to the top and he stayed there.
And this battle for 6 still hot. It's been hot the whole race between Ruben Phelps and Shane Bowen and Matthew right behind him. He was the guy in 5th and 6th place before the pit stop cycle, and seems to have lost track position to both of these guys in front of him.
Yeah, it sort of switched places, didn't he? Matt Raymond's now behind Bowen and Phelps, which is pretty much a reversal of his fortune from what we saw earlier.
15 laps to go. He doesn't have much time. He's got to get around these guys while the tires are still fresh. Later in the run, it's been hard to make a pass.
That's right. Come on, buddy. Let's see what you can do.
Brad Newman coming down pit road this time by.
Hey!
Got 16 laps to go. Came in there pretty clean, pretty smooth. No black flag. We'll see how the pit stop goes and where he comes out.
All right. Well, his eyes are on the watch right now as more and more drivers are going to make their way up onto the lead lap thanks to the momentary pit stop of Brad Newman here. Zach Sears makes it. Jason Holdsworth makes it. We're looking for Lachlan. Boom.
Nice and smooth into the box is what he needs. He needs the quickest pit stop possible. Knowing he's going to come out long behind Dave-O, he needs to trim that down as much as he can.
Did he take tires on one side?
He definitely took tires, because Dave-O is going to go blowing by him down into turn 1. He definitely took 4 tires.
Okay.
He is still going to be stuck behind both of these guys, but not as far back as I thought.
He must have shortened himself on gas then, I'm guessing, a little bit here, because he had only
that might have saved him some time, yeah.
Yeah, he had a 10.5 second pit time to everybody else's about 14, 15 seconds. So unless his pit crew really ate their Wheaties this morning, he did something a little bit different there.
Well, I'm guessing maybe he did take 2 tires. Well, I don't think that's going to work out for him, especially with 15 to go. But 2 tires might be the only way for him to stay up and remotely close to these guys, considering all the time he lost overcutting the front 2 leaders right now.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have to see here as Brad Newman now in 3rd.
Gonna have to check out his lap time this time by. Last time around, Dave-O up front ran a 39.7. Zach behind him a 10th quicker. Zach has brought his lead from 3.5 seconds down to 2 in just a few short laps since their pit stop. It's only been about 10 laps since they pitted. So at this pace, Zach might have something for Dave-O towards the end of the race. But maybe Dave's just saving a little bit of stuff, knowing that Zach's going to burn him up trying to get to him.
And there's your time, 39.5.
That's about 0.3 quicker than Dave-O. That's not enough for him to get there, but it is plenty fast. That's even with the 2 tires, so maybe that 2-tire call is going to keep Brad up there. He might just have something to say for the end of this race.
That's right. He is within sight of Zach Kerr. He is within sight of Dave-O, but that sight is still pretty far. That's a 3-second sight he's got to make up, and he's only got about 13 laps to do it.
Man, he closed in 2/10 just going into turn 3. He just might have something for him towards the end of this race.
Well, that's exciting. Let's see what happens if Zach Kerr lets him do it, or the 2 of them have to work together to get up to that Dave-O spot.
I don't think he's got a lot of time to mess around with Zach. Once he gets to him, he's got to get around him. He's got to focus on trying to gain another 2 seconds to catch Dave. Zach's got to be an easy pass for him, a quick pass. And he knows it. He's not going to wait.
Well, let's see. Time is going to march on, and as it marches on, we're down to the 2.8 mark now for Brad Newman to make it up to Dave-O.
That's 4/10 off of the last time by. He is flying right now. It's hard to believe that he probably did take 2 tires, and he's still able to show this much pace coming off pit road.
What a speed. What speed out of Dave-O right now. Again, between the two of them, I think that he and Kerr could split driver of the night in terms of how things are going, but Brad Newman might be a close contender for third.
All three of these guys,
place, yeah.
all three of these guys have been all over each other all night. They've all shown extreme amounts of patience, extreme amounts of racecraft, and they have put themselves in position to win, all 3 of them. Dave with the track position, Zach closing in on him, and Brad closing in on both of them. This is shaping up to be one heck of a finish here at Michigan.
That's very true. Very, very true. As we've gotten to 115, we've got 11 laps left, folks. When we get to the end of lap 125, it'll be 1 through 10, and then we're done. So we've got to see what these guys have got left in the tank. 2 seconds and 2.2 seconds and closing. It's Brad Newman on the leader, Dave-O, with Zach Kerr in the middle. Further back, we don't really have too much shaping up. We got a battle between Matt Raymond and Shane Bowen still going on for 6th place right now. Matt Raymond finally making a pass again for 6th, trying to hold on to that spot. We'll see if he can do it. He's got him by about a nose right now, and he's going to slide up into that place. But as we know, that battle has been going back and forth the entire race. So anything could happen there.
These guys have been all over each other since the beginning, as you just said. It seems to be like they all have the same setup or something. And here we are, almost 120 laps into this thing, and they're still all within half a second of each other.
That's right. They must have all gotten the feed from the same place. Whatever it is, it's good.
That race
they're all
eating. Eating up. Zach now within a second of the leader, and Brad, as you see right there, he's within 2 seconds of the leader.
That's right, is 1.59 and closing for Brad Newman. Dave-O just cannot keep the speed up, unfortunately, because the speed behind him is just too great, and these guys are closing in. Now, the speed looks like it belongs mostly to Newman here, who's already lost another 2/10 off that time. Kerr trying to make the close, but I think it's going to be Newman passing Kerr here. We'll see what happens.
Dave's starting to get loose. It seems on that second pit stop, Dave made an adjustment or something, and his truck has been getting looser and looser as this track cools off and the race rubbers up and it rubbers up the track. So it seems like he is a sitting duck here with 7 laps to go with 2 faster trucks closing in on him.
Yes, it does. He's got a wild angle going into 1 and 2 here. Just a little bit more sideways than I think he wants to be, throwing himself into some of these turns. It's getting riskier and riskier and riskier watching him make these moves.
Here comes Zach. I don't think he's going to be patient as Dave gets sideways in the center, coming off the corner. He is fighting that truck off of turn 4. It seems like it is starting to rear its ugly head and get loose for him here when it matters most.
Yeah, this is it. This is when the rubber meets the road, as they say, and Dave is having trouble with both of them. The road is covered in rubber, and his rubber is running out as he gets a little bit more sideways, and here comes Zach on the inside.
Zach wasn't able to get to his left rear quarter panel, and he doesn't have a run down the back, but it seems like he's going to be able to make a move here down in the center of 3 and 4. He just has to be where Dave-O isn't.
Yeah, he didn't have the run,
go to the top.
Not having the run into 3 and 4 means his exit means everything here.
He's going to go to the bottom. This is going to help Brad Newman. Brad is only 2/10 behind these guys now. Seems like he's got him where he wants him.
Brad Newman. Oh, defensive driving from Dave-O, but Newman's going to stay on the inside and force Dave-O to stay on the middle of the track.
This is Dave-O's only shot. He's got to stick with Zach Kerr and try to get in line. But it seems like Brad's got a little bit of the speed off the corner to stick to his left rear quarter panel and stay underneath them going down to turn 3.
Now, if he doesn't want to be happy with bronze, he's going to have to work a little bit harder than this. Unfortunately, it looks like it's going to be the bronze medal if he can't get that truck back under him as he is so close to losing control. Dave-O right now with Brad Newman right behind him. We're on lap 20. 120 of 125, folks. Just 6 to go, or 5 to go now.
See, Brad, even without that draft, he's able to pull down the straightaway on Dave-O. You can tell his truck is just working better. But is he able to get the clearance off the corner, or does Dave-O continue to work that top? Oh, some contact! They almost wrecked. Brad's going to get sideways. Great job saving that truck and keeping himself in position. Didn't lose time to him, but his patience is going to start running thin with Dave-O now.
It is incredible move as we've got a lap car high on the outside. He says, I don't want any of this. You guys go ahead and take it. The 3 leaders now still battling side by side. It's Dave-O and Brad Newman. Newman saying, I want second place and you will not take it from me. And Dave-O saying, you will not take it from me, sir.
Every lap Brad's underneath Dave's burning up his tires and heating them up more and more and more. He's going to clear him coming off the corner here and put himself in position right behind Zach. He's going to make a move going down the back.
Massive bump off the wall for Dave-O, and that's going to be the end of his race, most likely, in terms of his race for the second place. He falls back hard as now Newman makes the pass on Kerr.
Wow, what a drive by Brad to come out 3.5 seconds behind the 2 leaders and closed in on them with under 15 laps to go to get it done as he crosses the line. 3 laps to go as he goes around the lap truck here of Brenton Henderson, trying to stay out of the way, as you just said about the 86.
Just stay out the way. Just stay out the way. Here comes the 33 down the middle. It's lap 123 of 125, and it's Brad Newman's race. I gotta say, yeah, the medal goes to him tonight for that drive alone. Making up 3.5 seconds under 20, about 20 laps, less than 20 laps to go. What a drive with virtually no help except for the conditions of the cars ahead of him. To help him out, he was in the best shape, and that just speaks to his choices that he's made tonight, and his racecraft, and everything that Brad Newman's put together to give him the performance he's had this evening.
What a job he did to minimize the damage done by Dave-O undercutting him. He was able to stay out 8 laps after Dave-O and only lose 3.5 seconds. And he gained it up all within 10 laps as Dave-O really drops back. He is back now about 4 seconds behind these 2 leaders. Seems he has burnt his stuff up for good, and he might be in danger of losing that podium spot to Zachary Sears.
That's true. Well, Sears is going to have to make up quite a few seconds to catch up there. He's almost 10 seconds behind Dave-O, so unless he can do that in about 1 lap, it looks like Dave-O is going to at least clinch the bronze here. But let's look at the front. Let's give him the proper reward that he deserves here, and let's talk about Brad Newman, your race leader right now, going through the backstretch, taking it home on these 2 miles of Michigan International Speedway, folks. It has been 125 laps around. It has been exciting almost the entire way as Brad Newman, Zach Kerr, and Dave-O are going to take it across the line and win it for you in the 1-2-3. Here he comes right now through the restart zone. It's Brad Newman taking the checkered flag.
Wow, what a battle, what a statement win here by Brad Newman. He's already won 3 races so far this season. This is going to be his 4th win on the total. I'm sorry, his 3rd win on the year for this new season here in the Super Trucks. And he is really putting it together and making himself a favorite for this championship.
Yes, sir, you better believe it. Let's break down the full results here. Brad Newman in first place, Zach Kerr in second, Dave-O in third, Zach Sears in fourth, Jason Holdsworth in fifth, Matthew Raymond in sixth, Ruben Phelps in seventh, Shane Bowen in eighth, Lachlan Urquilo in ninth, and Andy Barber in 10th.
11th place is going to be Ryan Barber, 12th Jason Tyerman, 13th Paul Jackson, 14th Colin Bennett, 15th Brian Blundell, 16th Mark Grocott, 17th Brenton Henderson, 18th Brad Wright, who had multiple speeding penalties early, Tom Pritchard, who also was a victim of the speeding penalty, and myself in 20th, who did not race tonight.
Where was your performance all night, Sean?
It was horrible.
How terrible.
Damn truck didn't even start.
Damn truck didn't even start. Well, there we go. We're watching Brad's burn it down right now. And very shortly here, folks, we're going to take a quick short break. And when we come back, we're going to be talking to our race finishers, our podium finishers, Dave, Zach, and Brad. So don't go nowhere.
You've got what it takes.
Ladies and gentlemen, ready for countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, ignition.
Man, this is some of the greatest stuff I've ever heard. Ooh.
These go to 11.
Here at TWRS, we're always here to help our squad when they need a little push in the right direction. That's just who we are. We're a beautifully diverse group of goofballs dedicated to driving fake race cars as fast as possible. And we continue to push each other to the front using the power of nonsense. We have one of the strongest NASCAR programs on the service, and you can access it all for $24.99 a month. And we just released individual subscriptions for $14.99 a month for each NASCAR vehicle. We also just added a rallycross program, and our IndyCar program is taking off as well. So come join the weird side. We have speed and cookies. Cookies are not included in some locations.
If you love the thrill of racing but hate the risks, then buckle up. Everything Simulated is here to merge adrenaline with absolute safety. In a world where technology meets adrenaline, Everything Simulated is revolutionizing driver training with state-of-the-art simulators. From truck training to the thrill of motorsports, our simulators offer the most realistic experiences across all automotive applications. Gone are the days of endless bookwork and basic drills. Now it's all about hands-on, pulse-pounding action that prepares you for the real deal. Whether you're maneuvering a heavy mining vehicle or racing a high-speed car, our simulators, equipped with cutting-edge technology from leaders like Simrigs and Track Racer, bring every nuance of the drive to life. And talk about making a mark. We're not just building simulators, we're fostering talent. From grassroots motorsports to professional series like the Aussie Outlaw GT3, sponsored by us, Everything Simulated is fueling dreams and careers. Ready to feel the excitement of the racetrack under your fingertips? Connect with us, and let's build your next simulator adventure together. Remember, we support those who support us. Join the Everything Simulated family, and let's race towards the future.
Hello, folks, and welcome back again to the Southern Thunder Truck Series post-show. It's me, Jolo, up in the booth with Sean Signori and Kobe Jordan, and we're bringing you some interviews with some of the podium finishers in tonight's race. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to pass the microphone over to Sean. He's going to talk to Zach Kerr, and we're going to make sure that we get his name right and we pronounce it right. So I'm going to pass it over to you, Sean. Take it away.
Hey, what's going on, Zach? You had a great truck out there tonight, man. Congrats on your second place finish. Now, do you feel like you had too much short run speed there early in the runs and fell off compared to the two guys up ahead of you?
No doubt. I definitely had too much short run, and it just definitely didn't pay off in the long run. I think the colder track temp definitely didn't favor in my way, but still had a good result.
Yeah, you put yourself in position a couple laps ago. You were up front leading that race. Do you feel like you could have done anything different with that last pit stop to maybe give you that advantage to beat Brad, or maybe put a little bit more of a fight up to him?
I pretty much threw the whole kitchen sink at it and gave it all I could, and still wasn't enough to beat Brad.
Well, I'll tell you what, you had one of the fastest trucks out there tonight, and you put on a hell of a show, you and Brad and Dave O, and it was fun to watch here. Anybody you want to shout out for your second place run tonight?
Massive thanks to all the Nexus Esports guys, and Cosman from Splash and Go for the Paint, and you guys for the broadcast.
Awesome, man. You did a great job out there. Congrats to your second place run. We'll have to catch you next week.
Cheers.
All right, we're going to send it back over for
Yep, that's all right. Welcome back, Sean. A very good interview there. I'll take it back from you if that's all right.
Sounds good to me.
All righty, and we're going to talk to Brad Newman. Brad, can you hear us?
Yeah, I got you, mate.
All righty. Hey, what a run, sir. You had some incredible racing tonight, and I especially want to highlight that at the end of the race, you had a 3.5 second gap with 20 laps left in the race. What was going through your head at that moment, and how did you know you were going to win this race?
Well, I didn't know I was going to win it. I was hoping the two tires was enough. Having them fresher, obviously Dave and Zach had a bit of an undercut, so I knew I'd have good right side tires, but I wasn't 100% sure. I think Jason took two at the start of the race early maybe, and seemed like he had all right pace, so like I was hoping I was right that that's what he'd done, because it looked like it was okay, but yeah, I wasn't 100% sure about it, but it worked out all right.
Yeah, it worked out very well. Looks like you were able to make those tires work, and Dave was falling back. You were pulling forward. You managed to make up that time in no time, and you made it look easy, I gotta say. What was the toughest thing for you during tonight's race?
Not a whole lot, really. The truck was really good, like short run, long run. I just sort of had to make sure I had some draft. Like if you lose the draft here, it's obviously not ideal. So yeah, as long as I sort of had a car in front of me or something like that, it wasn't too bad for most of the stint. So yeah, the tires were good basically the whole run for the car each run.
All righty. Well, that was an incredible run, Brad. We want to congratulate you for that gold medal finish here. Is there anyone that you want to shout out to or thank for your performance?
Just you guys, as always, for putting these events on, and the guys at Lobs Esports. Thank you.
All right, it was our pleasure, and you take care. We'll hopefully see you here on the podium again very soon. All right, folks, that was Brad Newman, your first place finisher. And that's going to bring things to a close. So let's do a little bit of a wrap up from our side. Sean, how did you enjoy your first time in the booth, my friend?
Man, what an experience. I must say it was one heck of a race those guys put on up front, and even back in the pack for 6th, 7th, 8th spot, they were close all race, and it was more than I could imagine coming into tonight.
Well, you put on an incredible show. They put on an incredible show, and I think that we all had a really good time. I want to thank Kobe down in the truck for pushing the buttons and making it all happen. I want to shout out to a couple sponsors here: Scotcher Race Fuels, TWRS, Everything simulated for the trophies. 131 Web Radio Network for the intro video for tonight's broadcast. Doogie Mobile and Fall In, the social media network for veterans. We've got a lot more information for you folks. If you want to keep up to date here with the Southern Thunder Truck Series, you've got all our social links right there on the screen. Please follow along. Stay up to date. We've got a lot of excellent racing coming your way, and you might even hear me or Sean on here in the booth again in the near future. So, next race coming up, June 13th, Iowa Speedway. Stick around for that, and we will see you very soon. Take care, everybody, and have a good night.